Time now for Morning Rounds with CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. Jon LaPook and CBS News contributor Dr. Holly Phillips. First up, after the terror attack in Orlando, heroic doctors worked to repair and heal the bodies of the wounded. But as Jon shows us, souls need attention too.
In a small house in downtown Orlando.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
Healing starts with a call for help at an LGBT resource center.
Any other question?
It's also in the work of a performer called Blue Star. Reeling from news of a friend's death, but continuing to offer support from her theater headquarters.
Providing love. Anything that we can do to ensure that someone makes it through this day and that when they wake up tomorrow, they know they have a safe place to go.
And for people like Aaron Hernandez, healing begins with a vigil for those who were lost.
Why did you come here today?
To celebrate my friends. I lost 5 of them.
Oh my.
I think that my best way for me to get better is to be surrounded with people that I love.
Since 9/11, research has taught mental health experts that the best medicine immediately following traumatic events is not having people relive the events in their minds, but instead making them feel safe, calm, and connected to others. All around this grieving city, there are signs of healing.
When you wake up in the morning and it's your family, it's your community, unless people experience it, you can never explain to them how deep the cut actually is.
How does the cut heal?
I don't know.
No one knows, but this is how it begins.
It was so powerful to be at that vigil last Monday. But I have to say, all the hugging there, all the emotional support, people need to realize that people all over the world are also affected by this and the emotional trauma of that. And that same kind of support that they were offering in Orlando, people have to give each other from friends and family. And if needed, if, for example, your daily activities are being disrupted, if you're finding that you're changing, you're getting a little bit jumpier than normal, then seek professional help.
I also didn't realize you shouldn't ask someone about a specific event. It's good to know that you should just try to connect with them.
It's so interesting that we learned after 9/11, there have been so many shootings, unfortunately, that we were doing it wrong. This business about debriefing people, we were re-traumatizing them, and really it's emotional first aid, they call it, a psychological first aid to just have calm, comfort, safety, and empowerment.
I just think it's so, one of the points you made about not reliving the events over and over, but rather, to understand them and then to somehow manage to heal and move on. That seems like the greatest challenge, but it's a really important point, not just to repeat them.
All right, well, moving on this morning to a question just about all parents think about. How much sleep should your kids be getting? For the first time, the American Academy of Sleep Medicine provides some answers. In a consensus statement, the Academy said infants 4 to 12 months should get between 12 and 16 hours a day. Children 1 to 2 years old should get 11 to 14 hours. And ages 3 to 5 should get 10 to 13 hours, including naps.
For older kids, ages 6 to 12, the Academy recommends 9 to 12 hours of sleep a day, and for teenagers, 8 to 10 hours. Holly, why is sleep so important for kids?
Right. Well, sleep is important for everyone, for our brain, for our mental health, but particularly important for kids because their brains are still developing. We know that babies, children, and adolescents who don't get enough sleep may have issues, difficulty with memory, behavioral problems, learning problems as well, and you can even see effects on standardized tests. There are medical concerns, an increased risk of diabetes or obesity, as well as a higher risk of kids getting injured or having accidents. Adolescents have, really unusually specific concerns. They're more likely to have mood and emotional disorders, anxiety, increased suicidal thoughts, increased suicidal behavior, and even self-harm, self-injury.
I feel like adolescents, though, they're still in the age bracket where you can threaten them into bed. Teenagers, to hear 8 to 10 hours, that's a lot.
Yeah, and let me count the ways that teenagers have problems getting enough sleep. There's change in their circadian rhythms as you hit puberty and beyond, so you sleep later and you want to go to bed later. They have the blue light from all those gizmos that interferes with melatonin, which interferes with your ability to go to sleep. And finally, there's just all that homework. My kids, I remember they got to the point where I went to sleep before they did because they were up till midnight and beyond.
So, Holly, how do we help our kids get more sleep?
Right. The most important thing you can do is to try as much as you can to follow a routine. go to bed at the same time, and wake up at the same time every morning. That way your circadian cycles stay stable so that when it is time to go get in bed, you can fall asleep. A lot of teens like to sleep in the morning. That's okay, but try not to sleep too much. Maybe add an extra hour or hour and a half at most on the weekends so that you don't knock off those circadian cycles. And as John mentioned, the blue light is really a problem, particularly if you're checking your cell phone or tablet in the dark. That really magnifies the issue. So if you can get your teens to have a timeout from the devices about an hour before they turn in, they'll sleep better.
All right, finally this morning, the doctors brought us a little test. This is a picture of a rash associated with a disease that affects an estimated 300,000 people each year. So, what is it?
No pressure, no pressure.
I don't know.
And imagine that you might have had a little tick on you when you came out from the
that's
woods.
what it looks like.
And what does it look like? The rash
Lyme?
of, yes.
It is.
The rash of Lyme. Ding, ding, ding. Dr. and I are very good. And just sort of the little ending with the clinical pearls is basically you don't have to have that classic rash.
Right.
You don't even have to see the rash at all.
No.
It can occur anywhere from 3 to 30 days after being bitten, average 1 to 2 weeks.
Right.
But basically, it's Lyme season now. Everybody needs to be aware. Flu-like symptoms, the rash, and you may have no rash.
It's an unusual rash. It doesn't have to look like that, but when you see a bullseye in the middle, definitely a cause for alarm. Have somebody check it out.
It can just be a splotch, too.
Doctors Jon LaPook and Holly Phillips, thanks.